Death is one of the most difficult and questioned things about life. But now, more people than ever are getting those questions answered and their hearts healed in an unconventional way. Meet the Baton Rouge couple who say it saved their sanity and their lives. What is life after death? Where do our loved ones go? And can we connect? Agonizing questions Jane and Daryl Boudreau needed answered after the brutal murder of their 26-year-old son, Kai.
It was horrible. I experienced my dad dying of cancer, and that was pretty bad, but this was nothing like that. I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't stop crying. I couldn't talk to anyone without crying.
I wouldn't give it I'm analytical, and I wanted to know exactly what happened.
I actually thought I was dying. Physically, I thought I was dying. I didn't know how I was going to get over this.
They met repeatedly with their priest, spent months in counseling, but it didn't extinguish their anguish or stifle their suffering.
She was in bed for three months crying.
However, a little light in their darkness appeared when they felt and saw a few signs Kai was near. The first happened to their other son, Cade.
He felt like Kai hugged him. He couldn't breathe. He was like something had squeezed him so tight. But then he heard him say, Cade. He heard him say in his ear, Cade, 3 times. And he knew. And Cade's kind of skeptical.
The second sign was dragonflies.
I went outside. I was in my nightgown because I stayed in my nightgown for the longest time. And I mean, as soon as I opened the door, it was like, I don't want to say 1,000 dragonflies, but it was many dragonflies all around me.
Mysterious orbs appeared at their home and at their fishing camp, where Kai was killed.
But we didn't know about orbs until he started showing up at the camp with orbs. I mean, I would see orbs all the time, especially on my deer camera, which is infrared. Okay. It doesn't have a flash, and there'd be orbs dancing around and with the deer.
Then a friend told Jane about Stacy Hilton, a spiritual psychic medium in Baton Rouge. Daryl encouraged Jane to schedule a reading. However, a few discouraged it.
It really didn't matter what other people thought because I had to do what I needed to do. I don't believe in coincidences anymore because I really do believe God lines up people that need to be in your life. And she just came at a point that I needed her.
Stacy remembers the day Jane and Kai first came to see her.
I remember how strong he was, how he came through. When someone has lost a child, no matter what the age is, that child is really, really gung-ho about coming through and making sure I get details, like little details, things that nobody knows that can validate their presence. You know, it's like the one thing that a parent wants to know or hear is, it's as simple as knowing they're okay. I just want to speak to them one last time.
Jane was blown away.
When I left there, I really felt like I was a changed person. I felt like so much of a relief. She told me things that were so only Kai would know, or that I experienced from Kai that no one else would know, and it wasn't on the news. So it was a big help for me.
Stacy asked Kai what signs he was sending.
That's something I always ask in a reading to someone's deceased loved one is, what do you do to let them know you're around? Because everybody wants to know that, you know. And he showed me dragonflies, smiley faces, and hearts. The way he has shown them signs is profound.
Jane says Kai's signs started popping up all over. A month later, Daryl popped in to see Stacy.
He picked me up and swung me around. He said, thank you, he's crying, thank you for giving me my wife back.
Kai's signs started small, then got huge. Jane's first heart was on a roll.
I had a roll that I picked out of the bag, and it had this perfect little heart. And I ran in the den, and they were watching TV. Daryl and Cade were watching TV, and I'm like, look, look. They weren't too impressed, you know, they kind of blew me off.
Then the next day, Daryl came running.
He goes, look, look, I have this chip, and in the center of the potato chip is a heart. And I'm like, you see, you believe me now?
First potato chip I took out, there's a perfect heart cut.
When Daryl was in the hospital,
They had to change the IV, and I'm holding my arm up, and they tried right here and they missed. I'm holding the gauze and I pulled them, and on my gown, perfectly shaped heart.
but what Kai's horse Romeo did blew everyone away.
Smiley face and a hay bale. And then when we went there to see it, actually he stuck his head in and was eating the other side. He making a happy face on the other side, and jumping around and, you know, more to make sure we saw his hay bale.
It happened on the very day, just 1 year before, that Kai was killed.
You know how I get these hearts from Kai? Well, when the horse had his head in the bale of hay, the eyes, I want you to look at that picture because the eyes are hearts. So it was definitely a sign of happiness because Kai was happy. I feel Kai was happy. He's in a good place. And Romeo was happy, and it was a win-win for all of us.
Kai started showing up on camera too.
You know, I didn't know what orbs were. And when he died, we were getting these like streaks of lights in the pictures. And when I was telling Stacy, I said, I think Kai's in my classroom. And she said, well, he is. She said he was helping a kid carry something messy the other day. And she didn't know about that picture. You can see the light is right on the hand like he was helping him. It's strange, I know, but it's true. You can't deny it.
If you're watching this at home feeling skeptical, you're perfectly normal. For decades, Stacy was terrified by all of this too.
This is something that has been a part of my life, my entire life, and I was terrified of it. And I thought, oh, it's wrong. Don't conjure spirits. I'm like, I've never conjured one in my life. But, you know, I don't conjure them. They're there. They've always been there. I was terrified of them, thought that they were harmful. And what I've realized over time is, I think it was one of the first readings I ever did, in fact, was with a nun. And it was a priest that came through that had passed that was giving me permission, not permission, but saying it's okay. It's okay to be who you are. It's okay to do this work. And this was a very close friend of the nun who then said, oh my gosh, you know, it's beautiful, it's healing, and it was somebody that she desperately missed. And I thought to myself after that, how is that evil? You know, it's not. And so it took me a while to become accepting of myself.
Not accepting it led to a decade of depression.
I didn't understand it. I was on medication for years, and I know the first thing I noticed when I embraced it is I didn't feel depressed anymore. It was gone. Haven't been on medication in over 10 years. I feel like, you know, I'm very humble in this work because I feel like it saved me. I feel just as grateful as as Jane and Daryl. You know, it's just as important to me.
Another eye-opener for Stacy came after her parents' house flooded in the historic 2016 flood. Her mom found an old plastic bin in the attic.
It was childhood stories from school, and you know, we write stories, and they had a flyer the teacher would send home to the kids. And all of the stories that other kids would write would be like, oh, I went outside and I saw these beautiful butterflies, and my story would be, oh, I counted to 10 before I could run through the doorway to get through the spirit standing in the door to get to my sister's bedroom. It was story after story, and it really hit me, oh my gosh, I've never known any different.
Jane says she knows connecting to those on the other side isn't witchcraft like some fear.
She's a Christian. You know, I was really scared. She wasn't a witch. She was blonde hair, blue eyes. She didn't have black fingernails. She didn't wear a cape. First thing I saw was the Blessed Mother. She had a statue, she had the rosary, and so I felt safe. And this is a gift from God. You know, you can't deny it. She has a very powerful responsibility, and she uses it for good things.
Daryl's always been a man of strong faith. Now it's strengthened even more.
God has been my savior, my faith. I say you need three things in life, the three F's: family, friends, and faith. And faith is more important than any of the rest.
Kai's death has also taught him forgiveness.
I would go see Father Greg after Mass and say, man, I don't know if I can do this. I forgive the guy who murdered my son. He said, you're not ready yet. And I don't know what he was talking about. He said, you're not ready yet. And out the blue, at 3:13 in the morning, God woke me up. And God told me, you forgive his soul because his soul belongs to me. The rest of him is Satan. You don't have to forgive the rest of it. And I told that to Father Greg, and he goes, now you got it. Oh. He said, if I'd have told you that, I'd have been cheating you.
You know, it's sad. I never chose to be in this club of child loss, parents of child loss, but there's so many of them. You can go on, but if I didn't get the signs that I get, it would be very difficult. That's what, it's just the perk that I need. It comes at the right time, and he knows when I need it. I know that it's Kai. It helps me get through another day. It helps me get through another week. It helps me get through another month.
Jane's a walking testament to one of her favorite quotes. Even the darkest night will end, and the sun will rise.
And I am redeemed.